Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the man who is the most excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the entire Davenport area, John Hansen.
That's not true. There's definitely bigger Final Fantasy fans here than I am.
Yeah, so we're going to
I
talk
didn't
about
watch
Final.
the state of play. Is it good?
I mean, like it's what you expected, right? It's just like a bunch of Final Fantasy VII stuff. The game looks great. I'll say. I mean, we'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah, the
Yeah.
game looks great. We'll talk about it in a little bit. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Xbox games potentially coming over to other consoles such as the PlayStation and the Switch. That and more. It's kind of a slow news week, right, John? So it might
hmm
be kind of a quicker episode, but we'll see. We're going to try and fill some time here. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pinned tweet there to join our Discord server. Come say what's up. Send us pictures of your dog or your whatever pets you may have, right? And yeah, come say what's up. Tell us what games you're playing. Tell us what if you're looking for people to play with. Hit us up. Always down to play games. And subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube.com/Pixel Street Videos, where we post all of our Let's Plays, unboxings, podcasts, you name it, live streams. Whenever I stream on Twitch, I'm always streaming at YouTube at the same time. So be sure to check us out there. Let's just get into the news, John, because there's not much of it. The big
But
thing
there's
that
one really big thing. Yep.
yeah, it's the big thing that if you Google video game news right now, you are going to see at least 3 articles right up at the top
hmm
about this, and it's whether or not Xbox games are coming to the PlayStation and or the Switch. This has been like rumored. We talked about it a few weeks ago, I believe, about like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves potentially going to other platforms,
hmm
which makes sense, for games like
Those
those.
games make sense. Yes.
Yeah, but then there's other games that are heavily rumored now, such as Gears of War and Halo even has been thrown in
And
there as them.
Starfield.
Starfield, yeah, Indiana Jones, that's not even out yet.
Indiana Jones. Yep.
Like all this stuff coming to other platforms, and it's kind of a weird situation, right? Because I feel like if Xbox starts doing this, they're pretty much saying, "Hey, like I mean, they've already said they lost the console war, right? Like they've already
hmm
admitted that." But like them doing this is like, who's to say in 5, 10 years we're just gonna have no Xbox console, as we know it. Maybe
It's a possibility.
their console or their platform will technically be Xbox Game Pass, in
hmm
some like on PC. You know what I mean? Like who knows? Because I highly doubt that you're gonna be able to play Xbox Game Pass games on like PlayStation. But who knows? Maybe if Xbox bows out of the hardware race altogether, maybe PlayStation plays nice and they're like, all right, fine.
It did not take long for Sega games to start appearing on Nintendo consoles after they backed out of the console department. I don't think it's crazy to think that if Xbox just doesn't make consoles anymore, that they just put a Game Pass app on PlayStation. That could definitely happen.
Yeah, it's a wild time because like what scares me is how much is a PlayStation 7 going to cost if they don't have competition, right? If their only competition is PCs, I think that they could
Yeah,
drive that price up as much as they wanted.
yeah. I'm not honestly. It's really funny how over over the top people are getting on social media about this because you've got like Xbox influencers and everything that are like
Yeah,
I've seen
they're
a
like I'm
lot
out.
of people
They're like I'm
there's
out on
a
Xbox now.
lot of people like saying, "Oh, I'm out. I'm gonna go cover card games. I'm gonna go cover Switch games and all this." And I'm just like, okay, we don't even know how much of this is true yet. Like we've got
Exactly.
Phil Spencer coming out and saying, "Hey, next week we're gonna have an event. We're gonna talk about the future of Xbox," which is a terrible move. Why are you waiting a week? Why? Like you have so many people. You're just gonna
So my
let.
what I think is, so for reference, Phil Spencer tweeted he tweeted this like the day after all this stuff started coming out, right? He said, "We're listening
Mm-mm.
and we hear
It's a
you.
lot longer than that.
We've been we've been planning." Well, I mean, he waited until Monday, which is like the first work day. We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. And like to me, that makes me seem like this leak happened because they were prepping for whatever this event is going to be next week, right? Like more and more people probably got brought in on the info surrounding this because they needed to get this event, whether it's like a video edit or whatever it is, scripts written. Um, but yeah, that tells me that's why this was leaked. But yeah, it's still just like just come out with like a YouTube, not a YouTube, like a Twitter video, something, right? Of Phil Spencer just saying like, yeah, like this is what we're planning to do. You'll hear more in detail about it all next week, right? Like
Mhm.
other than having us all just sitting here like, what is he gonna say, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't know, and like some games like we talked about at the top here make more sense than others, right? Hi-Fi Rush makes sense. Starfield, I could see either way, right? Like it's been out for a while on Xbox, maybe it underperformed, right? And
Oh, it did.
them coming out with it on PlayStation is going to help them, eat away at that deficit. But like
Mhm.
for them to say like Halo's going to come to PlayStation, that would be fucking crazy, right? That's Halo is on the back of the Xbox box.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if this ends up being the way that they're going, they very much it looks like they are starting to take steps towards just becoming a third party publisher. And maybe they'll still focus on their hardware a little bit, but it's definitely not something that they're gonna
I mean,
put too much
most of
into.
their studios now are basically started as third party
Yeah, pretty much.
developers.
Um, yeah, the whole talk about console exclusives and everything has been exhausting this week, to say the least. My personal take on it is I think console exclusives do a lot more harm than they do good.
I
I
agree.
don't I don't buy into the um I don't buy into the competition makes you better on the exclusive sides, because when you talk about that, you talk about these third party deals that Sony and Xbox make. And that's the reason why Final Fantasy games have taken so long to come on Xbox, and you get situations where where Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is known as a PlayStation brand, is always known to be a PlayStation brand. It starts out the first year on Xbox instead of PlayStation. Like you have those kind of deals, which just aren't good for anyone. It
Yeah, those are
doesn't
bad.
do anyone
I I,
good.
I would I would rather the game just be full on exclusive than the stupid like 1 year 6 month deal, where like all the branding is like it's a console exclusive, but then
Mhm.
like people ask the questions like, well, is it ever going to come to Xbox? And they're just like dodge the question, because like they know in a year it's going to come to Xbox, but they contractually are not allowed to say anything.
Maybe we thought that Final Fantasy VII remake was going to come to Xbox in a year, and it's been what 4 years now. So
Yeah, I don't think that's ever coming to Xbox.
yeah, not at this point. Um, yeah, I would rather there just not be any exclusives. I think what platform you these okay in the back in the day, exclusives made a lot of sense, and I would hear your argument about, hey, we need these exclusives to drive people to our platform. I think that's an outdated way to look at things. I don't see that happening today. Today you have people that like the brand is what drives them to come to that console, and if their friends are playing there as well. Those are the two main drivers. Of course, there are always odd things there where someone says, "Oh yeah, I like God of War, so I'm only playing PlayStation. I would never look at Halo because Halo sucks and God of War is better." But honestly, do we really need to listen to that kind of talk? Like, who cares about what that person thinks? Shut up with your fanboyism. Um, yeah, I,
I'll
I'm,
tell you
I
what,
just
I'm excited for a potential future where I don't have to decide where I'm playing games if I want to play on console, right?
that would be great.
Like it would be amazing. Like think about
Hmm.
like crossplay has helped us tremendously on that front, right? Like
Hmm.
crossplay, like me being able to play with people on PlayStation in most games now, I'd say that's kind of become the standard. But like in the future where it's just, like in a future where there is only PlayStation and there is only Nintendo and PC, right? Obviously, Nintendo, for the time being at least, they're always going to be doing their own thing. They're going to have last gen's tech put in whatever, form factor they're going to use, whether it's a Switch 2 or whatever. So,
Hmm.
like, clearly that console is not going to be able to play, this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You know what I mean? That tier of game. Um, and yeah, just a world where there's only one console, right? For like your big third party games that you want to play, or I guess all games now, potentially. Like that, it just sounds so nice. And
Hmm.
not going on Twitter and being like, oh, well, fucking God of War is definitely way better than Halo. It's like, dude, that argument makes no sense. They're two completely different games.
Yeah, yeah, I hate
But
those arguments.
it like we're right in the middle right now, right? Because like if this is what's happening, if Xbox is say in 10 years completely third party, we make no hardware, maybe they get some sort of licensing deal. I don't even know. Like, can they even make controllers for other stuff other than PC? I doubt it. But like
No, they wouldn't do that.
but like it's just like it's such a weird like I said, it'd be such a weird change from everything we've known our entire lives in terms of our gaming history for like somebody our age, right?
Hmm.
To where like it's gonna take a while for that mold to break. Like even if that did happen in 10 years, you're still gonna see shit posts on Twitter. It's like, oh well, Xbox's multiplayer game they came out with is way worse than this Sony game that came out that's also multiplayer. It's gonna be years of that, even if this does happen.
Yeah, it's so I'm just so tired of those stupid console war conversations. Like I'm an old man now. I don't fucking care
Yeah, just fucking
what
play where you
plastic
want to
box do you
play.
think is better. Yeah.
It's
Uh,
especially now that cross play is a thing. It's like who the fuck cares?
there is no other time more than and there's no other time in the past more than now where games are so interchangeable. Like you could 100% make Halo work on a PlayStation console. God of
Yeah,
War 100% could work on an Xbox console. The only case that where that isn't true is I don't see you getting like a God of War Ragnarok to work on the Switch the way it is right now because it's the same conversation we've had with the Switch for years now. You have to make a dedicated port that is so much weaker than the ones on PS5 and Series X. But that said, I don't know. I kind of would be just fine with having one console to play
I mean,
everything
yeah, I
on.
agree.
Still support
I
your
mean,
company
I
and
would
everything.
spend a lot less money
Hmm.
because like
I think.
because like think about it. Like I'm very much like a tech heavy person, right? So like if they come out with a PS5, right, like they did, I bought it. If they come out with a PS5 Pro, I'm not gonna buy the Slim because like that I don't benefit from that. But if they come out with a PS5 Pro, you better believe I'm buying it. Same thing with Xbox. Whereas like now, if like instead of two different things, there's just one thing I have to buy every 4 or 5 years, like I'm all in. Like that's an easy sell for me.
Yeah, I I would trade in my PS5 so fast if I could just get those games on my
Yeah,
Xbox. And
yeah,
I guess people would be like, "Oh, look, exclusives do sell. They do bring you to their console." I'm like, "Yeah, but does it really matter if I'm playing like 3 games a year on that console?" I play more than that on it, but still, it's just like I don't know. I just don't see the big appeal. I don't see why people champion it so much. It's just not good for it's not good for the gamer in any way whatsoever, except for the people that want to fanboy out. I did have one scenario though that I thought would be really funny. I highly doubt this will happen, but how funny would it be if next week Nintendo announces a Nintendo Direct and Phil Spencer appears on it and
I
talks
saw
about
your
all the
tweet.
games
I was
coming
gonna
to
bring that
Xbox
up.
or coming to Switch.
That would be great. That would.
That that would be pure chaos, and I want it to happen so bad
Here's my
because
thing though: is in my opinion, worst thing Xbox can do next week is come out and say, "Yeah, Starfield and Hi-Fi Rush are coming to PlayStation, and Hi-Fi Rush is coming to the Switch." But then not clarifying all these other leaks, right? Not clarifying like, oh God, like coming out and saying God of War, we're also looking into it, or like, or
Mhm.
just straight up saying no, we're not doing that, right? The worst thing they can do is leave any open ends at the end of whatever they do next week.
I think Yeah, they 100% have to nail down what is the precedent for games to go on other consoles. Because in the past, we've seen
Yeah.
Cuphead, Ori, Minecraft, like all these, like, I'm not going to call them small games, but they're smaller in like development terms. Uh, all those games go on Switch and PlayStation, and we've heard Phil Spencer say, "Yeah, the development team wanted to put them on there, so we supported them in that." And yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Love that. But now that we're having all these rumblings about staples in Xbox with Halo and Gears of
Yeah.
War, Starfield, which was touted pretty much since they acquired Bethesda as like, yes, this is the Xbox experience. This is the game you want to get your Xbox for. We're only what 6 months away from that game releasing, and we're already pivoting to bringing that out everywhere. Like, I don't know. I We need to like hear like, is it a oh yeah we Bethesda and Activision, we spent almost $80 billion getting these two companies. Like, yeah, we have to see money back, so we have to release these games everywhere. Okay, fine. Pete Hines, remember during the Activision trial thing last year, he's like, "Why does Activision get to have all their games third party, but we don't?" I mean, it could just simply be a thing there where before he retired, he's like, "No, we have to get this everywhere." I just don't. Xbox is doing such a terrible job of communicating with people lately, and they're being very reactive over just like everything. They're not being proactive with this stuff. Like, even if they had plans all along for this event to come out in a week and to explain everything, like, I feel like you don't leave that to rumors. Like,
I
don't.
feel like they wouldn't. I feel like they weren't planning on explaining everything, right? I feel like they were
Yeah,
going to come out next week and say, "Hey, these games are coming to other platforms," right? And I feel like that's where they would have left it. But now that these rumors are coming out and people are speculating on a bunch of different scenarios and a bunch of different IP going to other places, I feel like now they're under the gun to come out and say exactly what's going on.
yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. I don't I don't know what the thinking is on how they're handling their messaging, because it's been very odd the last few months, let's say. Like, it's just, I mean, the layoffs thing doesn't really count towards this, but it's just like, it seems that every time something good happens with the Xbox brand, something big and bad is gonna happen right after it. Uh, it's always something that's like shooting them in the foot, and I don't know.
I'm also curious if they announced that new Xbox controller next week because it went up for pre-order on like Amazon or something or
Mm,
one of those some website, and it said that it releases February 20th or 22nd or something. So
mhm.
I wonder if that's actually true. And they're like, all right, we know there's a lot of turmoil going on, but check out this new controller with cool triggers.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. And
But
then
which brings up another thing is like all those leaked documents on like the Xbox roadmap, right? That like were they weren't like completely up to date per se, but still it's like crazy that to think that they could have been planning a 10-year plan for like next gen systems and accessories and stuff, and just within a year they could have changed it to be like, you know what, we're not making any games or anything, or not any
mhm.
systems or anything, we're only
Yeah.
making games.
Yeah, like when they said, "Oh yeah, some of that information is outdated," we thought it would be like some of the game announcements, but it was really the console that's supposed to come out in 2028. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, no, we're just not making that anymore."
I'm also curious how willing PlayStation would be to let Xbox games come to their platform. Like, what's the
I do
legality of that?
I mean, if they agree to it, they could get something happening. But I just wonder, like, I I am curious if Xbox were to be like, "Hey, Mr. Sony, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. I'll give you Halo and Gears of War. I want to see what God of War and Horizon do on our platform. Like, let's just swap and see what happens." I wonder just like how beneficial that would be for both sides. I think
I mean,
it would.
It
100% be more beneficial for Xbox
Yeah, that's what I was
because
gonna say.
the player base on the PlayStation side is just so much larger. Like
Yeah.
you've heard it 1,000 times. Xbox lost the console war years ago. Like it's stupid how much PlayStation outsells them. Um, yeah, I just don't. I don't know. This is all a mess, and I am just so ready for it to be over with because I'm so tired of hearing about this.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like in my head, it's hard to picture a future where PlayStation is willing, if Xbox does go third party, you know, and like that could be something that is factoring into them going third party or not, right? Is whether or not PlayStation will agree to some sort of terms like, hey, for the next 10 to 20 years, you will let us release games on your platform and we'll stop making hardware. Because I'm sure that would be a thing. Because like that would benefit PlayStation tremendously, right? Like not only are they making kind of a commission on every game sold on their platform, but they're also the only large hardware manufacturer in the market at that point. Down the line. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I'm excited to see what they say next week. They didn't
everything is
specify a day,
no,
but I'm hoping it's not when I'm out of town, so I can actually watch it.
everything is so up in the air, and
Yes.
I'm just I don't know. I think they'll probably do like remember when Bethesda first got acquired by Xbox and they had like a sit down with all of the big heads of Bethesda and Xbox? I think it's gonna kind of be something like that. They'll like bring a host in to like be like, hey, explain what's happening. I think that's what's gonna happen with this. I don't see any major announcements coming from this. I think it's just gonna be, hey, we've seen you have had a lot of questions. This is what we're doing. Sea of Thieves, it's been out since 2016. We want to keep the player base strong and thriving there, so we're re-releasing it on PlayStation.
And
Blah
we
blah
really
blah.
want to make sure nobody buys Skull and Bones.
Eh, no one's gonna buy that game anyway. Um,
Except for Dallas. Dallas is real excited for it for some
oh
reason.
yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh, oh,
He keeps
well,
telling us to download the beta. He's like, preload the beta starting today. It's like, dude, I'm not downloading that. You'll
I
be
have
lucky if I
no.
download Foam Stars and play for an hour.
Well, at least that's like the full game, and you play it with your subscription. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see anything like I don't see any like new announcements coming from whatever they're gonna talk about, but I I just don't like the waiting part because people are just they're losing their mind on social media.
Yeah, they just
It's insane.
like I said, they just need to clarify, right? They need to
Mhm.
say, we're doing it on a game by game basis. We're gonna, see whether or not we want to release it, or it could be like as simple as, you know, if a game comes out as exclusive and within a year we don't see the sales we want, or the team feels strongly about releasing it on another platform, we're gonna pursue that.
Mhm.
Somebody in the Twitch chat says PlayStation fans won't buy Xbox games to the tune of record sales, but what it does is squash the list wars and fanboy wars. Xbox fans telling Square they want Final Fantasy games only for them to sell less than 10,000 units is for the list wars as well. I don't know that
List
I fully
wars.
understand that. Like the NPD list, I don't know.
I
Sales
don't know.
list?
Yeah. At the end of the day, none of these company heads, none of them fucking care about what console you they like what console you like because you give them money. That's all they care.
Exactly.
If the game is gonna make them a lot more money if Starfield's gonna make Phil Spencer a bunch of money because he put it on PlayStation, he's gonna do that.
Yeah, I agree. And it all comes down from the top, right? It could very well
Mhm.
be Microsoft at the top level being like, "Hey,
Satya
this
Nadella.
this isn't working. Make us fucking more money."
Mhm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, they've been putting out a lot of money, and I mean, what was it, 69 billion for Activision? You put that kind of money in to get these massive games, yeah, they're gonna make some money back, but it's gonna be a while before you see a return on that. It's not a Minecraft situation where that 2 billion was made back very quickly.
yeah. John, let's talk about something more exciting. The
Tell me
Final
about
Fantasy
Final Fantasy.
the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play just happened right before We started recording the show, and it looks fucking awesome, man. Um, it just the fact that it's a PS5, like next gen exclusive, I should say, because remake the first installment of the game came out for the PS4, and while yeah, it looked great at the time, but obviously if they've started from the ground up in this one, considering that it's only going to be on PS5, then it's going to look a lot better. And they showed so much shit in this trailer. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they showed like a bunch of different mini games that are going to be throughout the story. They showed a bunch of different characters that were kind of up in the air whether or not they were going to be in this game or not. Um, and they did say I want to look into it, but they did say that this game's going to go up to the Forgotten Capital, which is only the end of Disc One on the Final Fantasy VII game.
Hmm.
So, and this is supposed to be a trilogy, which makes me think this game's really going to ramp up in the third installment of the game to finish the story. But granted, we have seen that they have changed. They've diverted from what Final Fantasy VII actually is a little bit here and there. So it's possible that they just completely change what the second two discs of the game were for whatever
Yeah.
this third game is going to be. Um,
It the game was 3 discs to play on PS1.
yeah, and this is
I
the
mean,
second game, and it's going to end at the end of disc one,
yeah,
which
that
is crazy.
they gave us the name for it. What was it? Because there was remake, rebirth, and then re something else.
I don't know that they gave us the name of the third one. Let
Uh,
me look.
well, whatever it was, I think it would be interesting if they just like put in a completely different story for that last part. I know a lot of people didn't like how they changed things in remake with the story.
Especially at the end. The end of
Mhm.
remake, people were very upset about.
But now they don't care and they're all excited for rebirth. So like, does it really matter?
No, they could do whatever they want. People are gonna buy this shit.
As long as the game is good, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and they did announce that the demo's out now, which leaked yesterday because they put out a trailer saying the demo's out now. That
Hmm.
and the trailer was meant for today, obviously.
You playing it?
Um, yeah, because I think we talked about it last week, where I only play games where progress transfers over.
And it does?
Um, so progress does not transfer over, but it's only the very beginning of the game in the demo, and if you play it, you get to skip that part of the game when the full game comes out. So it's
Okay.
basically like your progress is transferring. Like the first 2 hours of a game like this, you're not gonna get anything that you won't get just by skipping that 2 hours.
No.
So yeah, super excited. I can't wait to download it.
I
I
like
I
that
would
stuff.
I literally watched that and I was like, I should just pre-order this. I never pre-ordered it, so I know I'm
Mm,
gonna play it when it comes out. And it also
that's
came with the first game along with Integrate, which was the DLC, and I never bought the DLC, so I'll probably play through that before this sequel comes out.
will you have enough time?
Yeah, the DLC isn't like crazy long.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, give me like a quick bullet point list of the things you're most excited to see in Rebirth. Like the top 3 things that you're like, yes, I can't wait for this specifically.
Chocobos, obviously, chocobos are awesome.
Okay.
Um,
Races and stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they do chocobo races. I don't know that we saw that in this trailer. I'd have to look at it quick. John, when I tell you they showed so much shit in the short amount of time, it was like, bang, there's this, bang, there's that, bang, there's this minigame, bang, there's that. Like one of the
Hmm.
things they showed was it was almost like a rhythm based game where it looks like it's going to be so hard, but I'm excited to try it. Where you use the sticks. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. So like think of each stick having 6 buttons and it depends on where you flick the stick, right? On each
Hmm.
one. And you got to like synchronize them for a song or something. That looks really cool. Um, it looked like there was some cool quick time stuff. I couldn't tell if that was like a mini game or what it was, but like I said, it went all over. I'm excited to see Zach back in the game because that was part of what was controversial about the first one, is what they did
That
with his story at the end of it
that's the guy, the black haired guy.
from Crisis Core. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just 'cause he's like one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, just because I love Crisis Core so much.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm excited, and they showed more of him in this trailer. So
Cool. Was
I
he
fucking can't wait.
so if he was in Crisis Core, was he in the original Final Fantasy 7?
I don't know, John. You'd have to play it.
I'm not going to. I have it on Switch, the original Final Fantasy 7, and I made it to out of the first area, the city. I was like in a wilderness, or not wilderness, but like I was exploring, and I was like, okay, I don't know where to go, and then I gave up.
Yeah. So I don't think he was in Final Fantasy VII, like the OG game. Fuck. Now you have me second guessing.
Oh, you're the expert here, not me.
I Google it.
I thought Crisis Core was like a prequel, so I
It
don't know.
is. It is. But now I'm thinking, like, did they do a flashback at one point? Hold on. I'm looking them up. Hold on.
Crisis Core was a
Uh,
PSP game, right?
yeah.
I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if they thought that much ahead to include him like a decade prior if he didn't have that big of a role.
Why is this such a hard question to find the answer to?
I don't know.
Because everything I search is just bringing up the new game, obviously. So it's hard to
Mhm.
find. Um. Okay, so it does look like he was in Final Fantasy VII.
Hmm. Interesting.
So yeah, but
I only know him from
obviously,
Kingdom Hearts.
yeah, fucking weirdo. Um. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, Crisis Core is a prequel, and that's part of. I don't want to spoil Final Fantasy VII remake because there's probably people who haven't played it, but yeah, the end of remake does something with him that was not in the real game, and kind of messes with that a bit. So people are very or were very upset about it, but
Hmm.
like you said, seems like everybody who was upset about it doesn't give a fuck anymore because they're all just
Yep.
gonna buy this new one and play it.
Yep. Zach was in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which is the prequel game, and he was in the Hercules world, and he was like combating. He was like not fighting him, but like competing with Hercules to get Phil to train him, and then obviously Hercules won in the end. So that's your
Okay,
Kingdom Hearts
so
bit.
Zach is in Final Fantasy VII in a flashback, so
Hmm.
it makes sense. But yeah, that
Okay.
that is pretty forward thinking on their part to be like, all
Yeah.
right, Final Fantasy VII in what '97 when it came out or something, and then
Yep.
for them to be like, all right, in 2004, let's make a whole story based on this dude in the flashback.
Mm-hmm. A bit.
So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All
yeah,
right. Well, I'm excited for you to have fun with that.
I'm excited too, John. And you know what? We game share, so you could if you wanted to
I could. I still haven't beaten 16.
do it. Well, yeah, 16's good, but did you beat
I
Rebirth or remake?
remake.
Sorry,
Nope. I played like an hour of remake, and then I got distracted by something else.
gotcha. I love the combat style that they went with.
It was
Where it's
good.
like
It's more
it's
like
like it's more action heavy, but it's semi turn based.
I liked that it's more inspired by Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts combat's great.
I
Uh,
started Kingdom Hearts because I picked it up for PS4 on some sale, like a Black
mhm,
Friday sale or something. And I only got I don't even remember how far I got. I got to like a lodge somewhere. I played a few hours at least.
mhm. See,
Couldn't get
our
into
rules
it.
our rules are like completely reversed on like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Pretty
Like,
much.
yeah. All
All right,
right.
John, take us through the quick news.
All right. First up, the Nintendo Switch could potentially become the highest selling console ever. Nintendo updated their sales trackings on the console right now, and they have sold. Oh, hold on. They're at 139 million units sold worldwide. That is,
And you're telling me Xbox doesn't want to go to Switch?
yeah, that is Number 3 all time behind the Nintendo DS at 154 million and the PlayStation 2 at 155 million.
All they
Obviously,
gotta
every
do, all they gotta do is hold out on announcing a Switch 2, and they're at least moving up
well,
one spot.
that's the thing. Like, even if the Switch 2 ends up coming out this year, people are still going to buy the Switch
Yeah,
1 because if they're
it'll be
smart
cheaper.
about it, they'll drop the price, different sales, and if people go and buy those new consoles, that drives up. They could 100%. It is doable to reach 156 million for the Switch. Um, if that happens or not, we'll see. But it's very doable. Also, they also like updated like game sales and everything, and there wasn't anything like too big. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe passed 60 million games sold, and since September it was the highest selling Switch game because that game's just gonna forever sell. The interesting thing though is Tears of the Kingdom, between the game releasing in May and the last time they updated in September, sold just under 20 million copies. It was like 19.5 million, something like that. Today, when they updated it, it's only at like 20.3. They haven't even sold a million more since
That's
September,
crazy,
which is,
especially considering the holiday.
yeah, like just nothing for Tears of the Kingdom. It just barely outsold Breath of the Wild over that span, and
That's crazy.
Breath of the Wild's at 30 million. So yeah, in my eyes, I'm like, wow, like we had all the very excited people that got it, like me. Like I was all in on that game, played it and everything, but it just didn't bring in new people, which I just didn't expect that. I
I
don't
think
know,
part of
but
it too could be just how many great games came out last year.
that is true. That is a factor, and then also everyone's fucking broke right now, man. It's hard. We can't buy these full price Nintendo games. Man, I have so many Nintendo games I need to get caught up on. Um, yeah, that was definitely the most interesting thing. Pikmin 4 passed 3 million copies. That's the highest selling in that series. Oh, and the Nintendo Switch is the best selling console of all time in Japan. It beat out the DS at 30 million. So, yeah,
Cool.
got that.
John, I'm in a Discord group where there's one dude in it who lives in Japan,
Hmm.
and he's just constantly posting pictures of him at like electronic stores and stuff.
Yeah.
Of like he'll post a picture of like a Nintendo DS, and like the cost there is like equivalent to like $10 here. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how is that possible? Like he'll
Uh,
post like a Pokemon Red copy, like in box with all the manuals and everything. Granted, like it's from the '90s, so it doesn't look brand new or anything, but it'll
mhm.
be like $25. It's like, dude, that is insane.
I would love to have that. 1 second here. I
John's
have
walking away. He's coming back.
I
He
have
has.
one. I have a
Oh yeah,
Japanese
he showed me
Super
that.
Mario 64, and I love that. If like, man, you need to like talk to that guy. Be like, hey, can you pick this up to me and ship it to me? The shipping's
It's the
going to be the
shipping.
expensive. Yeah.
So I did look. There is a website. I forget what it's called, but it basically it's like it's a whole thing where it's like eBay in a way. Um, it's like eBay, but like they have price. Like it's like buy it now eBay more or less. But you
Hmm.
go through a third party company to order stuff, and you can make an order. You can batch a bunch of orders together, and then you pay per item and for shipping, and they send it all to you. And I was watching a YouTube video where I forget the YouTuber's name, um, but he's a pretty popular YouTuber where he just like bought a bunch of stuff off there and had it sent to him, and he broke down the price and like the stuff he got for how cheap he got it compared to what it costs here is crazy. Now, I mean, obviously the downside is like everything's in Japanese, right? So like you put
Well, you can't
Pokemon
use
in,
it
it's gonna be in Japanese.
without that version either. Like this, I can't put this into my Nintendo 64 because it's
Yeah,
region locked. Um, Yeah, I do love like the collecting aspect of that. Like if I could get more Nintendo 64 games or GameCube games, even like just boxed Game Boy games like that Pokemon you said, I would
John,
100%
all I'm
down.
saying is like I'm gonna
So
go to
good.
Japan one day. Like that's a place I really want to go in my life,
That would be
and
amazing.
I'm gonna have to take a whole extra bag just for the shit I'm gonna buy there to bring home.
I would, well, yeah, 100%. Japan's cool. I don't see
Join
myself ever going
join the Discord server for that because I'll be posting pics, and then Johnson be like, "Hey, get that for me,"
there. Yeah,
and it's
100%.
and it's gonna be just like a bin of shit. Hey, get that
Hmm.
bin for me. Bring it home.
Yeah. Hmm. Literally, I don't know if there's anything good in that. Give it to me.
Yeah, $10. I'll take it all.
Man. All right, next up, Obsidian is actively working on improving Avowed's combat. I actually have the article pulled up here. This is by Michael Kripe on IGN. There is a quote in here from the game director, Carrie Patel. She says, "We're getting the show more and more, but all of that is while the game is still in progress, obviously. One of the heartening things has been seeing fans call out some of the things that we are actively working on, like the sense of hitting and impacts as you're attacking enemies. It's like, yep, what you all saw was still a few weeks behind where we were, even when that footage was released, just because of the nature of the way these things are put together, and the team's been working on it." So apparently, people did not like the way Avowed looked combat wise during the developer direct.
I thought it
I
looked
didn't
fine.
I didn't notice anything bad, but maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I every time I see Avowed more and more, I'm like, this game looks good. I'm more and more getting excited to play it.
It looks
When they
fun.
when they first announced it, I was like, oh, okay, it's just Obsidian's attempt at Skyrim. But no, it's something different, and I like that.
It
Also,
I think that's probably the issue people have is that it doesn't look exactly like Skyrim's combat,
probably, yeah.
which is
But
an issue
eh,
on their
for
part,
them,
not on the devs.
yeah,
That's a
no,
personal issue people have.
100%. Like I came out of Outer Worlds loving that game more than I like
Same.
Fallout.
I bought
Um,
the DLC for Outer Worlds on sale and still have not played it, but I did love
oh,
that game.
it's good. The DLC is good. I liked it. Uh, have you seen the Avowed cover art? That thing looks
Yeah,
amazing.
dude,
It's
that's my
so cool.
desktop background for my work computer.
Nice. It's so cool. I love that.
Very colorful.
Yes. All right. Next up, Konami is making a VR Yu-Gi-Oh game. Joel, are you gonna play that?
Nope.
Probably. My big Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
Yo,
Good for you.
John, you get me a code, I will play that game.
Okay. It would be really cool. That would be one of the few games that I would put on a
It would
headset
be cool.
for, and I would endure the motion sickness
The
for just
headache,
to try it, because it's got to be it. What they just said that they're in the process of making it. They haven't shown or anything, but it's got to be like um the
the arm
arm
thing.
deck thing where you like put a card on it and then it appears in front of you. That would be amazing. That would be
That'd be
so
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Neil Druckmann has a concept for The Last of Us 3, but it's actually looking like Naughty Dog's next game will be something new, not Last of Us related. I'll believe it when I
Yeah.
see it.
Did you watch that documentary?
No, it's the Last of Us Part 2 thing.
Yeah, it's really good. It's on YouTube.
I've heard. I've seen clips of it on TikTok, like Laura Bailey talking about the negative fans during that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's
Uh,
real sad at times, but
really bad stuff in there. Yeah.
overall, it's a great documentary. And like, one of the more interesting things to me is like the whole COVID aspect of it and how that delayed things and how it changed their workflow and everything and how it kind of
Mhm.
caused leaks. But yeah, super good. I would highly recommend it. Only if you've played The Last of Us Part 2, because it is very spoiler heavy on the game.
Okay. Yeah, I might give it a look at some point. Do you think that they're gonna do something new or?
Uh, I don't know. The, from the way he made it sound in, because he says that like right at the end of the documentary, um,
Mhm.
and he made it sound like they are probably working on it story wise. It doesn't sound like it's even like
Anywhere
they
close?
don't have people making assets or anything for this game yet. It sounds like it's very just like let's get an overarching story together, right? And then
I I
they'll
feel
work
like
on it after whatever their next game is.
they've gotta be recovering from the factions cancellation still. Like
Yeah,
Like,
I'd be really curious to see like how many people were working on factions, right?
mhm,
And how long ago they knew they weren't going to be making this game.
right?
Because it's possible that they canceled that game internally like 6 months ago, and they were just
Mhm,
waiting for the right time to announce it.
yeah,
So I don't
and
know.
then when that happened, they were already working on the remaster for part 2, and they
Yeah,
had just gotten done with the part 1 remake, like, was that 2 years ago now? Yeah, yeah.
I think it was
Alright.
last January. Oh, another interesting thing from the documentary is like they touch base on when they start talking about when they went from making only one game to then switching to making two games at one time, which I thought was interesting because like they were making Uncharted 4 or no, so they were making The Last of Us, the first one, and then they went to Uncharted 4, and then Neil like started working on Last of Us Part Two's like story and stuff. But then
Mhm.
like they needed all hands on deck on Uncharted 4 to get that out, so it's just real interesting.
So, alright. Yeah, sounds like it. Alright, last bit of quick news here. Jim Carrey is back as Dr. Eggman in Sonic 3, which is
Fuck,
exciting because
he
he is
fucking
great,
better be.
right? Well, he was saying that he was wanting to retire from acting last year, and, like, something along the lines of he would need to see a golden script to come back, and apparently Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has a golden script, Joel,
I
because
doubt
Jim Carrey's
I doubt
back.
Sonic the
Gonna be
Hedgehog 3 has a
dude,
golden strip.
have you seen oh my god, as a Sonic fan, they put out a little teaser. It's probably like 5 seconds long, and all it is them showing the logo, uh, and it just like saying Sonic 3 or something like that. But one, they got whoever is voicing Shadow's Laugh in there, who it's been rumored heavily that it's Anakin Skywalker. Hayden Christensen, is that his name?
Yeah.
um, that he's voicing Shadow, and then they also the way that they had like the letters come into the logo, the music was playing uh, a certain part of "Live and Learn," which is one of the best songs in all of the Sonic games from Sonic Adventure 2. This is going to be a heavy Sonic Adventure 2 story, and I am so pumped because that is my favorite story in the Sonic games. They also uh, they also casted someone who's going to play Maria Robotnik, who is I'm not going to spoil anything if no one's played Sonic Adventure 2, but that has heavily to do with Shadow's backstory. And then they also casted the actress from Jessica Jones, that girl. She who they didn't say who she's playing, but I think she's going to be playing Rouge the Bat because she was also a Sonic Adventure 2 character pretty heavily.
Cool.
So very
Are
excited.
they gonna give Shadow a gun?
Probably not because they didn't even do that in the Sonic Generations thing. Remember
That would be really fucking funny.
that Sonic Generations trailer? I didn't realize it when we first watched it, but when they like cross each other, that's a reference to Sonic Adventure 2, and then he like lands and he like turns around towards the camera. That turnaround pose is like directly from the Shadow the Hedgehog game, but he's just not holding a gun. That's the only
Cool.
difference.
Cool. I'm sure
All
people will
right.
edit a gun in a mod somehow to that game.
Yeah, it's gonna. All right, Joel, you got any collectibles to show off?
No,
I have one.
nothing. What do you
I,
got?
I have a really stupid one. Hold on. So this past weekend, I took my daughter. We went to my mom and we had dinner, and also she gave us our Christmas presents. and
Nice.
my mom doesn't really understand the things I like, but she knows like back in the day, I don't really collect them anymore, but I used to collect pop figures. She made a pop figure of me.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. The one thing I don't get is why I'm in an elf costume. I don't know
Because
if
it's
you can see it, but
Christmas. Because it's Christmas,
yeah,
John.
I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. But no, that's
That's
pretty
so
cool,
cool.
right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yep. And he's holding a phone and a game controller in his hands. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
John, I want to talk about what you've been playing, but more importantly, I want you to talk about your daughter 100%ing her first video game.
Yeah. My daughter has been playing it's an indie game called Calico. This
I
is
I think
it's a
I think I saw True Achievements tweeted or something, right? Because you have True
yeah.
Achievements. I don't know if it auto tweeted from
Mhm.
your account or if I saw it on True
Yes.
Achievements website. But yeah, I saw that you 100%ed that game, and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen John playing that game. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, so anytime that my Xbox profile completes a game achievement-wise, True Achievements, automatically, like, posts it on Twitter, and then there's also, like, different milestones that it posts as well. Um, so Calico is a game that came out on Games with Gold years ago at this point, like, I'd
3 years
say
ago is when the launch trailer came out.
yeah, yeah, so, like, 3 years ago, and it's a game it's a cat cafe game where you just go around, it's an island that's shaped like a star, and all you do is you, like, find different animals while managing a cafe, and then also you can like talk to villagers and do different quests for them. But the quests are like really simple. It's like just go to this area, give me this item. Nothing that amazing. But yeah, my daughter loves it because she loves animals. She would go around like grabbing all of the animals, and like you can like pick them up, you can like cast spells on them to like make them really big, really small, you can ride them, you can fly,
I was gonna
you
say
can
I
get a
was seeing some really
broomstick
big
and fly
cats in
around.
this trailer.
Mhm. So yeah, there's all this different stuff you can do with the animals, and she loved it. She still loves it. Uh so she beat the game and she's like, "Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Can I just start over?" And I'm like, "Well, do you want to start over? Because you still have stuff you can do in this if you want to." And she's like, and I showed her. I'm like, "Hey, yeah, if you go to this menu, there's different animals here that you haven't found yet." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go look out for them." And then she got down to like missing like four, and I was like, "Let me look up a guide and I can direct you where to go." And then she did all the quests and everything. And then she's like, "Oh, wait, I, I have like recipes I can do and everything." And like she just kept going. And then she got it. And I was like, "Holy crap, you just 100%ed this game. Good job, Ev." It was
Good
so
job, good
cool.
job, and thank you for doing it on my account.
Thank you. Thank you for the 1,000 gamer score. But no,
Yeah,
honestly, that was so cool seeing her. She's 11, and it was her first game that she's completed. Most of the time, she plays games that you can't complete. Like she's always playing The Sims and Minecraft. But a game that there was actually an endpoint in sight, she like went through and played it all the way. So yeah, that was awesome. Uh,
cool.
as for me, I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3 again. I took so I started it after I played Alan Wake 2 at the end of last year, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get really into this game. I love Dungeons and Dragons. Our friend Adam kept talking up this game to me. He's like, yeah, it's really amazing. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. Unfortunately, I hit like a roadblock where the game was just constantly crashing for me. And I just kept having to redo these fights over and over again. I got so tired of doing it. I was like, I'm just backing off the game for now. So a few weeks went by where I wasn't really playing it. I finally got past the area that was giving me so much trouble, and now I'm more into it because I'm seeing new things finally. It was just so annoying because it was like every 5 minutes I would
Yeah, that's
start up the
annoying.
game. I would talk to people, game crash. I'm like, come on, just let me through this. I just want to get by this. And my friend's like, yeah, well, you just need to save more often. I'm like, I'm not gonna just keep pausing the game, save,
Yeah,
and then move like 3 steps. I'm like, no, I think it had to do something with the Xbox version because I'm playing on that, and I'm like, maybe there was just some issue there, and there might have been a patch to address it. I've only had like a couple crashes since then. But yeah, I'm still on Act One. I'm past the Goblin Fort, which is I think is the main focus of this act. And now I'm just going around the area and I'm exploring. I found like this swamp area, this old lady who's like a hag and she's dangerous. And I most of this I've been going in with like, okay, I want to play this like I would play Dungeons and Dragons, where all of my choices matter. Like, if I make a choice, I have to stick with that and just see how it would happen. But there's a lot of like interesting parts of this particular area where I was like, what would happen if I did this, this, and that? So there's been a few points where I've been like, okay, I'm gonna save here, and I just want to see what happens if I turn in my vampire friend to this hunter. What happens if I tell this lady that I killed her brother? What happens if I let
I
this
think
person?
that's sorry. I was gonna say I think that's the charm of the game is how endless
Mhm.
that aspect of it feels. Like you could do that for
Yeah.
hours and hours, right? It's
hmm
crazy.
I did that. I did that a little bit last night. To this point, I've been avoiding doing that because that is kind of the fun of doing like other playthroughs of this game. So I'm gonna limit doing that. I wanna, like I said, I wanna focus on this. Like if I were playing Dungeons and Dragons, whatever happens, I mean that's it. That happened. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more now that the game is actually running for me and not crashing. And yeah, I'll probably talk about it more next week. What
My
have you
question,
been
John,
playing?
is
Hmm?
if I see you playing, which I saw you playing, I think earlier today or something.
Mm-hmm.
If I tried to join you, right, it would have me make a character in your server. What am I just gonna have
Would
no
it?
skills and abilities when I join? Even though you're like,
So what?
say you're halfway through the game.
I'm level 4. Just make you level 4, but well, you would technically be level 1, but you have to level up your character. You just like go in there and like choose all your upgrades to
Gotcha.
get to level 4. Because every time I find a new party member, when I add
They're
them
your
to my
level.
party, they're at level 1, but I can level them
Gotcha.
up to that. So
Cool.
yeah.
Maybe I'll join you sometime when I see you playing. Check it out.
Maybe. Yeah. I was talking with Adam about like just doing a co-op gameplay
I would
campaign
love
of
that.
that. Yeah. So
I'm all in
I
if you wanted to do that.
okay, yeah. I'm completely fine with starting over and just doing like a unique playthrough for like the two of us.
I'd be down. I'm sure Kenny would probably be down as well. He loves
All
that
right,
game.
yeah,
He
let's
plays it
do
a
it.
lot. Cool.
All right.
I have been playing more Sea of Stars, and it's kind of like the main thing I've been playing lately.
Mhm.
This game is just it's so good. There's charm. I just got to a big story part like 2 days ago that like kind of it blew my mind in a good way. It
Right
has
on.
me real excited to keep playing the game and finishing it out. I'm like 20 hours into the game now, so I think I'm getting close-ish to the end because I want to say it's like a 24 to 25-hour game, at least in terms of what my playthrough has been so far. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just excited to get through it. The graphics are so cool, man. I love the art style. The music's awesome. I'm just having such a good time with it. Combat's a ton of fun. The characters I've unlocked for my party are great. Um, yeah, I don't know. I There's nothing else for me to say about it other than that. The story's awesome. I'm loving it. Highly recommend. You
Yeah.
should keep playing it,
That is
John.
that I will. Um I need to find where what I did with my Razor Kishi. It might be in my room, but I don't know where I put it. I was
Under
actually
your
planning
blanket.
on probably. I was actually planning on getting back into my Pokemon Emerald playthrough on my Analog Pocket, but I might do Sea of
Nice.
Stars. Uh, a game that I did though, like actually like go back and play is Resident Evil 2 because I just came to Game Pass,
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
yeah, like last week I want to say it came to Game Pass, and yeah, I beat Leon's campaign, which took me like 3 hours. And I'm gonna be honest with you right up the front. I did not do it the old fashioned way. I did not like
What's the old-fashioned
do
way?
the yeah. I didn't do like the legitimate way. So there is an upgrade that you can buy on the Microsoft Store
Oh no,
that
John.
gives you it
Oh
gives
no,
you
I don't like where this is
unlimited
going.
ammo. It gives you
That's
unlimited ammo
crazy.
in weapons.
I didn't know that was a
You
thing.
usually
How much?
it's like $9 or $10 usually. But if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can get it for $2. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell
So
you
so
right now,
you
this
just ran around with like a fucking AK-47 pretty much mowing everything
nope,
down?
nope. I ran around with an infinite ammo rocket launcher.
Oh my god, John.
It
Hold on,
was so much fun.
can you get all the achievements that way?
Uh, so from what I saw, you can get a lot of them, but maybe not all of them. I played on standard difficulty, and I had a lot of fun. It was so much fun. Uh, just like there's certain ones where you need to like use particular weapons uh on enemies. There's also like playing through the game on hardcore mode, which I was like, I don't really want to do that right now. Um, yeah,
I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
going to jail.
I
I'm pretty
maybe
sure I'm pretty sure now that you put this out in the world, somebody's on their way
Mhm.
to citizens arrest you right now from across the country.
That's That's fine. Hey, you know what? It was only $2, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not playing this game out of. Uh, I'm not taking out any money from my pocket to get this game. I can put $2 down on this because I think it would be fun. Yeah. So that DLC it like automatically unlocks like extra things. Usually, you unlock that stuff by doing speed runs of the game. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. But yeah, you can get like an infinite rocket launcher. There's a pistol in there, a combat knife that doesn't break. There was like a Uzi or something like that. And then there was a chain gun that I started using. But when I pulled out the rocket launcher and I was like, oh, this is literally all I need because it like even when you shoot it, the rockets like even go through fences and stuff. And there's no at least on standard mode, I don't know about hardcore. There's no splash damage to you. So if a zombie
You
is
can
like
shoot
right
from
on you,
point blank. That's
you can shoot him
crazy.
point blank, and all he does, he like just like staggers back a little bit, but it doesn't hurt him. And
And
yeah, it
people are
was
wondering why Game Shark is still making products again.
right. I had so much fun doing this. You know me, Joel. You and I both. We're not scary boys here. We are we're scared boys.
And,
We're not in the horror
that's
game.
why we don't play these games, John.
Yes.
Like the only time I've bought something like that is for I think Forza Horizon. Like I think you could pay like $5 or $10. Or no, I think it was like $3, and it just reveals all the items on the map, like all the XP boards and stuff. But that's different, right?
Mm,
That's not directly affecting
mm,
my gameplay. John, don't even
mm.
try and make it seem like those are the same
You're
things because you know they're not. You know they're not.
I I don't 100%. I do not regret buying it. I had so much fun playing that way. Um, yeah, I would not take that back. I do plan on going through and playing the Claire campaign and doing the same thing because it was just like because it's so funny because Resident Evil bosses I think they're usually pretty tough. And
Just like
the
three
literally
shots
the
and they're dead.
So yeah, there's one fight against William Birkin, who's like this weird mutated thing where you have to shoot him like directly in the eyeballs that appear around his body, and in that aspect, I had to be a little careful about where I was shooting. But literally, the last boss of the game, you face off against Mister X, and he like just got out of an explosion, so like his heart is like showing, and I guess all you have to do is shoot him in the heart, just one rocket launcher shot right
Oh
into the
my
chest
god.
and he blows up. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's wild.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
The other game I've been playing is Forza Motorsport. Um, I was looking for something to play to kill time the other day. That's kind of like like I don't have to think about it too much, right? And I was like, oh, let's play Forza. So I've been playing like one or two races every day the past few days. Um, it's awesome. I love Forza. I love motorsport a lot. I'm
Mm.
playing online races. I'm trying to do at least one a day because so there's an achievement for having an S safety rating in multiplayer and doing 5 races in a row. I think it is 5 or 10. And you have an S rating as soon as you start the game, right? Like it, the first time you play an online race, you're already S rated. So when the game came out, I was S rated, and that safety rating is directly based on like how many crashes you get in, how much time you spend off the track, that sort of thing. And so, as you can imagine, when the game came out, everybody's just crashing into everybody in the first turn. So my safety rating, like even though like I'm a really good driver, but because of other people just smacking into me and stuff, and like driving me off the track, my safety rating went from an S to a B. And everything I'm seeing online says that it takes fucking forever to get that safety rating up. I finally, after like 6 online races of me not touching another car, not going off the track once, got it up to an A. So I'm just wondering how long it's going to take me to get from A to S. And then once I'm there, I got to get five, I think it's 5 in a row races of like no bumps or anything as an S tier in a row. It's not just 5
Mhm.
total, it's 5 in a row, which is just bizarre because you never know with people online, right? Like I could go online, somebody could just turn their car left directly into me and say, "Well, there goes that. Back down to B." Um,
I'm gonna tell you, don't tell me to download it because that's exactly what I do. The race.
but it's so much fun. Like the graphics are great, the audio's awesome. It's a ton of fun. I did find a car, so I'm doing like a like the career mode, and like one of the circuits is like I had one car that I could use in it, and it was a Porsche. And typically, if I have a car to use in it, I just use that instead of buying another car in the game. So I was like, all right, I'll try this Porsche out. And man, this has to be one of the worst handling cars I've ever driven in any racing game ever. Because, like, yeah, it's really fast in the straights, but when you turn, I pretty much have to stop the fucking car just to make any turn. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm excited to keep playing it for sure. I want to get all the achievements in that game one day. Might take a while, but I'll do it. I'll do it.
Is that gonna be like Overwatch was for me,
I
where you
mean,
have to like commit
I'm
to
not
it
gonna
for
obsess
years?
over it. Yeah, I'm not gonna obsess over it, but yeah, I'll get it done.
Alright,
Yeah,
cool.
that has been episode 254 of the Pixel Street podcast. We've actually filled out that hour really well for how little news there is. So proud of us.
Mhm.
You can follow me on Twitter at Campo63, twitch.tv/Campo63. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos, where we post all of our Let's Plays, unboxings, live streams, and all of our podcasts. John, where are you at on the internet?
On Twitter, I am at Rovek Shadows, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com. Real quick, I totally should have included this in quick news, but I want to give a shout out to the IGN workers who unionized today.
Yeah, that's
That
awesome. We were talking about it
that's
last week about unionizing.
uh, yeah, but like, and specifically in the media space, like this could affect my future, and I am very happy to see that. So shout out to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, we'll be right back here next week with episode 255 of the Pixel Street podcast.
Bye.